Hey everyone, welcome back to another devlog for Bounding Main. This devlog is going to be a little bit different than the others. Instead of working on the game, it's really going to be more of an overview and sort of like an outline of the overall direction for the game right now. I will go over all of this again a little bit for the devlog where I'm putting the game up on Steam and itch.io. Hopefully the gameplay will be sort of final at that stage. But I wanted to make this video because I got a comment sort of asking me to, and here's that comment! Thank you. And yeah, for anyone who's interested in diving into some of the more fine details of this project, then this devlog is for you. Yeah, I want to warn everyone now, this video is going to be sort of boring. It's going to be a lot of talking and maybe a few visuals, we'll see. You know, I'm not really making this for views, just for the people who might enjoy this kind of devlog. You know, even if it ends up getting like 5 views, then it's all good. So feel free to completely skip this one if you're not interested. Otherwise, it's going to be basically like listening to a short podcast. Anyways, I'm going to break this video up into 3 chunks. The first is talking about sort of the inspirations for this game and my core game design principles and ideas I want to follow. The next will be going over the new and improved revised gameplay outline. And I want to make this clear, that is big massive spoilers for the entire game because I'm going to be outlining every single part of the game. So, you know, feel free to avoid that section if you are planning on playing this game and don't want to get spoiled on everything. And then the last will be sort of just my main priorities for the future and what I want to do next. I also want to question of the day time. Let's do it now. What is your favorite indie horror game? Because I would like to know, just to so I can personally go look at that and see, you know, which parts of that I like myself too. So feel free to leave that in the comments. Okay, so we're on to the inspiration core principles for this game. So really the entire goal of this game, you know, what we're aiming to build is we want to build horror through tension and atmosphere rather than completely relying on in-your-face scary moments, because that's kind of overdone and I feel like it's too easy. It's not really that scary. Like when I play FNAF 1, it's ooh, big FNAF Freddy jump scare, but like looking back, it's like, okay, well that was just kind of stupid. And of course, if we're going to be building this big atmospheric horror tension, then I want to be able to back that with a legitimate threat that the player needs to avoid and outsmart. And so obviously the way I'm trying to achieve that is with the monster. Because I feel like it's great to have a horror atmosphere, but if you know deep down that there's not really any real threat, or even after playing that there never was a real threat, I feel like it kind of immediately breaks down that atmosphere you spent all this time building up. And so I want to avoid that. I want it to be a real scary, not just a pseudo scary, if that makes sense. Of course, we want the monster to be unpredictable, and so the player can never really be truly comfortable when they're navigating the facility. I think having an unpredictable monster will help build the horror atmosphere a bit more, because I think another big part of the horror that I want to build here is fear of the unknown. Because I think that's just a scary, like a lot of people are afraid of the unknown because it's just in our human nature to be afraid of that. Because we don't know what's going to happen. It could be dangerous, so that's another part of it. You know, while we're prioritizing atmospheric horror, you know, I also want the game to be engaging. I want you to be able to actually play and sort of have fun. Instead of really just feeling like you're just walking through like watching a movie, basically. I want the player to have to really like critically think and make decisions. I don't want it to just be way too straightforward, if that makes sense. And then yeah, inspirations for this game. I think the biggest one really is Alien Isolation, because obviously there's that dynamic of the player and then the alien sort of lurking in the background like a mysterious monster that can attack you at any time. And then Iron Lung 2 is partially, you know, I mean, not as big, but maybe for the Rust aesthetic. I like that look, so that's sort of partially, maybe, perhaps, maybe the underwater component a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, that's sort of my like core tenets of gameplay, stuff like that, and the design for the game that I want to achieve. You know, this is always the thing with making games, is that it's not always going to go exactly to plan. And while those are the things I'm going to try to be achieving, I really won't know if I've achieved it until I've had people like you play the game. So we'll see. Okay, so we're on to section 2. Now, this is going to be all of the gameplay, and so I want to make this very, very clear. This will ruin the game. If you listen to this part, it will spoil everything. You know, you can still have fun playing it, but really the ideal way to play any horror game is to go into it without knowing anything. And so if you want to play the game, don't listen to this section. Skip to the next YouTube chapter. Okay, so anyways, I've already implemented some of this stuff already in the previous devlogs. And of course, gameplay is sort of an ever-evolving thing, and so some minor details will likely change. But it's much more concrete now than when it was initially, so I think this is a relatively accurate sort of rundown of everything. This is going to take a while, but... So anyways, the player starts by arriving to the facility as an unloader for some periodic like supply shipments down to the facility. And then obviously the player has to take the crates and move those to the kitchen and the dorm. And then after doing that, they head back to the submarine. Then the submarine window's cracked, so they have to figure out a way to fix it by finding a sealant kit, which is located in the lab section. I don't know if I'm super set on that idea, but that's the running thing now. And then they have to find a key card for the lab to get into there and get the sealant. And once they do that, they'll find it. Then they bring the sealant back to the submarine. And when they get there, the submarine will be destroyed. And so that's not good. And I haven't added that yet, but I will at some point. Then they have to find a new location for the escape route. Right now, I'm thinking maybe doing this through a terminal, since I feel like that's a little bit of an underutilized feature right now. Then once they do, the power goes out, and so... you know, to open the big funny door to make the submarine go down, you need power. So they have to go out and fix that. So they go on an EVA. And in order to do that, they first have to find a crowbar to use on the broken door near the women's dorm room. Because inside they can find a scanner and then the outdoor key card so they can open up the airlock. Then with that same crowbar, they use it on the diving suit cage so they can equip the suit. Because if you don't have a suit, you're going to go and die. Yeah, after getting all that stuff, equipping the suit, the player can walk across the ocean floor. You know, and I already added a lot of this stuff, so that will be the whole sequence avoiding the monster. They walk to the power station, repair it, and I want it to be sort of like a Dead by Daylight type sequence. I feel like that would be good. Haven't added it yet. But the player walks back to the facility. After doing that, they have to stealth through the exploration module of the facility, which I haven't added yet. But that whole thing will be like running and walking angers the monsters and the funny monster egg sacs that are going to be all around there. And power is completely out in this section. It's been like destroyed, the cable by the monsters, so you have to rely on your flashlight, the player does. Then the first room that shows up will be filled with a bunch of dead bodies, because it's almost like they're storing food for the babies to eat. And hence the reason why the facility will be absent from them. I think this is going to be the easiest way to go about it right now. You know, things are up for changing, but sanitation zones will be broken in this section too, so you're going to have to use crowbars to open them. And then when you do, the egg sacs get angry, and so this initiates like the final sprint to get out of the facility. And so they have to run through the corridor, get to the submarine room, they close the sanitation door, and then you get in the sub and leave. So that's all of the gameplay outline. Obviously big massive spoilers if you listen to all of this, so I apologize, but you know, if there's a few people that just want to really dig into this really deep and don't really care about the spoilers too much, then you know, this is for you. So if you did listen to all that, let me know, you know, thoughts and opinions on all of that. If there's something you think I should add or change or remove, anything, let me know. Okay, spoiler section is over. We can move on to the non-spoiler content, so everyone can watch this part. So, future priorities for Bounding Main. Right now, really the biggest priority right now is getting it to a playable state. And I'm on my way there. It's just, there's a lot of gameplay I have to add in order to really get to that point. And I'm really close. I'm not that far off. I just have to add another section and then we'll be pretty much there. But, still going to take a little bit of time. That's what I need to do. Because, once we have the gameplay in and you can actually play the game, I can get it up on itch.io and Steam. Maybe we can do some early play tests. If any of you are interested in that, I don't know. Let me know. And yeah, next would, just filling in gaps with the gameplay, really just sort of scatter throughout. And I want to add in more mechanisms that actually put the player at risk. And so for that, I was sort of thinking maybe a health system. It's either that or it's just an insta-death thing, but I don't really like the idea of insta-death because I feel like that's a little too unforgiving, and so I think a health system will probably be fine. I'll have to think about that and really how I want that to work, and I'm gonna have to balance that obviously so it's not too easy or too hard, but I'll figure that out. And of course I want to continue just fleshing out the monster AI a bit more and making the gameplay a little more interesting. More monster events inside and outside. I just want more stuff going on. I feel like that's what it needs to right now. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do. That's my future plans. But I think that's pretty much it for this devlog. I know it's a boring devlog, but I feel like I'm at a point where it's almost like a checkpoint. University's started back up. It's really hard to find time to work in the game. And so I just want this to be like a point where I can just talk about the game and its current state and what I want to do. So everyone can be sort of on the same track. Because, when I'm working on this game, it's all in my head and I know what's going on, but to someone else watching me in these devlogs, I think a lot of it's unexplained. And so hopefully this video sort of clears up a lot of that. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Let me know if you have any suggestions at all for any of this. Obviously, it's completely fine if you didn't listen to the spoiler part. Yeah, I want this to be sort of a chance for all of you to give suggestions and feedback on just the overall approach to the game right now. I obviously appreciate all the feedback all of you have left on older devlogs, and I have written all that down and taken that into account, so yeah, okay, that's gonna be it. Thank you. Bye.